Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicago Corner. My name is Kit Cabello. I'm the host of Hard Lens Media and occasionally a special guest co-host here for Chicago Corner. But during this time, I'll be filling in for our good friend, Jerry Vassilatos. He is right now recovering after some surgery. He is doing well, and he sends his best wishes to all of you, the viewers and subscribers to Chicago Corner. And I urge everyone to keep on subscribing to this channel, helping us build this channel up, because in 2023 will be the next Chicago municipal election cycle. And it's very important that we cover this election, especially during that time. It'll be a chance to elect in a new city council, potentially a new mayor. Here's hoping we don't get another, clown car of different candidates. But nonetheless, I'm glad to be here filling in for Jerry. He's been doing such phenomenal work, and I want to give a huge shout out to the entire Chicago Corner team. And with that being said, shout out to Miguel H. Good to see you in the chat. Shout out to E. Heller, and shout out to everyone else that's supporting us as we build this channel up. Again, Chicago Corner is live every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're doing everything we can to not only bring in awesome guests, but also cover the election that will be coming up in 2023. And this is important because now more than ever, we need to talk about Chicago politics. Corporate media has portrayed Chicago as this, irredeemable city, but I like to believe that Chicago is filled with good people who want to fight for a better future, and more importantly, make sure that we have a working city government, because there's a lot of stories that corporate media ignores and chooses to turn a blind eye to. But nonetheless, this is Chicago Corner, and y'all came in here for a great show, and I'm more than happy to fill in. By the way, be sure to subscribe to Hard Lens Media if you haven't already, and double check and triple check that you're still subscribed to us here at Chicago Corner. So welcome to the show. Shout out again to Jerry Vassilatos. Get well, buddy, if you're watching us. All the best to you, my friend, and I'm glad to fill in as a host. But I do know this. I will do the best I can to steer the great ship, Chicago Corner. So with that being said, let's get started with our first segment. The city's investing $1 billion in 24 affordable housing developments. Now, on the one hand, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited that, we're seeing some kind of investment into affordable housing. But again, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't seen our video coverage way early on in Hard Lens Media, but also please read the book, Chicago's Not Broke, written by Tom Tresher. There's a thing called the TIF funds. We've had the resources for many, many, many years in order to fund not only our infrastructure, but make sure that the lives of the people living in Chicago could be, dare I say it, a lot better. So remember, Chicago's not broke. It never was. The TIF funds. Read the book, Chicago's Not Broke. But with that being said, let's cover the article. So let's look at this issue. Chicago, here it is. The city is investing about $1 billion in 24 proposed developments that will create affordable housing around Chicago, as officials announced on Monday. The 24 proposed developments, a mix of new construction projects and preservation and rehabilitation work, are expected to create 2,428 units of affordable housing. They include a developer who wants to adaptively reuse a former Chicago Public School building for re-entry housing, and a project that is the city's first development in a partnership with and for indigenous people, according to the city. Now, again, we got to take this with a grain of salt because this is Chicago politics with city officials running it. So there's a good chance that there's going to be some shady deals on the side. So with that being said, continuing on, investing in affordable housing is a critical component to creating an equitable, strong city, Mayor Lightfoot said in a news release. I am thrilled that we've been able to expand our investments in affordable housing to move us closer towards that vision for our city. I want to remind everyone that Mayor Lightfoot did run on trying to make sure that there was affordable housing. It's just, what was the holdback for this long? That's what I would ask Mayor Lightfoot at this point. Because when we started Hard Lens Media, just before we started Chicago Corner, it's important to note, and it's important for us to really cover the fact that, number one, the city has been dealing with a mass exodus of people. It's really expensive to live in Chicago. There's no debate about that. But also gentrification has been running amok all across the south and west side areas of Chicago, impacting working class communities as people are being displaced by gentrification. And it's hard to get that populace back after people have been basically kicked out of their homes. And we do have an eviction crisis that's happening nationwide. The city's investments come from the form of low-income housing tax credits, public loans, tax increment financing, and money from the Chicago Recovery Plan. It's the largest such investment in Chicago's history, according to the city. We could have done this years ago already, but the city chose not to. Previous mayoral administrations chose not to. 18 of the 24 projects of the equitable transit-oriented developments, with 12 of those 18 on the south and west side areas of Chicago, according to the city, and 10 of the 24 developments are Black, Indigenous, or people of color led, while all include the participation of people of color. The projects also include 5 Chicago Housing Authority developments that in total will have 566 units, with 426 of them affordable, according to the city. The number could be a lot higher. Of the expected 2,428 units, 684 will be family size with 2 or 3 bedroom units, and 394 units will be affordable to households earning 30% or less than the area median income. The proposed developments must still go through a litany of processes, including getting city council approval for public subsidies, having their designs reviewed, and getting zoning changes approved before they become a reality. Closing is expected within 8 to 18 months, according to the city. So still, we're playing the waiting game. So developments will be in 29-7 West Irving Park Apartments, 4715 Northwestern Apartments, Lincoln Square, Lathrop Homes, Phase 1D, Lincoln Park, Prairie District Apartments near the South Side, 43 Green Phase 2, Grand Boulevard, Austin United Alliance, Austin, East Morgan Park Commons, Morgan Park, Inman Village Senior Residences, Pullman, LeClaire Courts, North Garfield Ridge, Legend South A3, South Chicago, Regenerator Inglewood, Thrive Inglewood, and 1237 North California Apartments, Westtown, Boulevard Apartments, Humboldt Park, Parkside 4, Phase 3, near North Side, Winthrop Eagle Apartments, Uptown, Albany Gaines Redevelopment, South Lawndale, and East Garfield Park, Archer Avenue Senior Bridgeport, all right, Church View Supportive Living Facility, Chicago Lawn, Island Terrace, Woodlawn, Northtown Village 1 near North Side, and Prairie District Apartments near the South Side. So these are the areas that are going to be impacted by this development. But I do have to lead up this with this challenge of why is it taking this long? The city council, again, there's a lot of individuals that are probably going to weigh in. And as we've covered on this show and on Hard Lens Media, and as we've said numerous times, the city council has a long, sad history of corruption and choosing to sit on their hands. Now, there are some good city officials that are trying to do everything they can to make sure that working class communities are taken care of. Now, this has been a fantastic article from the Chicago Block Club. It's one of the few independent media networks or sources out here in the city that's covering stories that you see very rarely covered by the larger media outlets in local Chicago media. But it's important that we remember that there's still a gentrification crisis happening. So even though that these projects are good, have good intentions, the sad fact is people are still being displaced. People are still losing their homes and apartments. There's still an eviction crisis that's happening, not only here in Chicago, but this is a nationwide issue. So on the one hand, well done, City of Chicago, but this could have been done years ago, in which citizens could have had affordable housing in this city. And we do have an unfair tax system where it's the working class, the homeowners, the renters that pay majority of the taxes. Where if you go down to the downtown area of Chicago, they pay almost zero in taxes. A lot of these larger offices and businesses, they pay zero because thanks to the city council and to corruption, all that workload has been put on us, the people who live in this city. That's why I say that 2023 will be a very important election cycle, because this can't continue on. There's an exodus of people leaving Chicago. And if we don't make sure that we have still a beating heart of real citizens here, I dread to think what our politicians will do in reshaping this city for whom they deem are the correct people to live here. Chicago is a working class city. Chicago was built by the working class, and it's long overdue that the working class get their fair share. With that being said, I want to move on to our next segment. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to our audience. We've got Loved Tagore. Love you, Kit, but Miss Jerry. Jerry was super, super nice to me. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope I'm nice to you, too. We got Dirtbag Leftist. It's it's filling in. Okay. We got Ware Pilgrim. Giant Head from Third Rock on the Sun. Vibes, LOL. Oh, I see. There we go. And we got Peg Leg here. How you doing, Peg Leg? My arch nemesis.
I had my microphone off and it sounded a little weird, but I said, incoming message from the big giant peg leg. Hello, Cabello.
Well, Pegleg, we meet again for the last time.
For the first time, for the last time, and possibly many more times.
Yes, of course, of course. What is Chicago Corner without the person who lit Chicago on fire to find the also coveted chocolate milk?
Oh, we are not going to talk about who set fire to what today, Cabello, but we should talk about a really important thing before we get on to the next story.
All
And
right,
that
what is
really
that?
important thing is flavor improving mugs. The mugs that improve flavor. And for a very limited time, in fact, like today, I think is the last day that you can use. What was there was a code in the Redbubble shop, but the link below. But the
Correct.
code for today, I think, was finish line. Is that what I said it was?
I
That,
think so.
yes, I think that's what it was. Yes, FINISHLINE is the code to save 25% on a flavor improving mug and also other merchandise in the store. But mostly the mugs, like this fantastic hot cocoa Chicago Corner mug with the Peg Leg Sullivan artwork on there. You could see Bessie, she's fantastic.
Well, you know what, Pegleg? I find it interesting that you chose to put that commercial across my face, but there we go. I find it interesting. Find it
That
very
is
interesting.
just a coincidence, Cabello.
I see how it is. I see how it works here. All right. Well, with that being said, folks, if you haven't checked out our merch store, be sure to check it out. Chicago Corner mugs. I mean, they're flavor improving. They're delicious and nutritious beverages all the time in the Chicago Corner mug.
Flavor improving mugs.
There you go.
Mugs that improve flavor.
You're always going to get a great commercial break here at Chicago Corner. So we're going to move on now to our next segment, and this has to deal with look. The Chicago police are beginning to beef up staffing after a weekend of violence. Sad fact is, here in the city of Chicago, there is violence, and I know it gets highlighted a lot, at least in corporate media. And it's a story that's very difficult to cover here because, look, we love Chicago. We always feel that there's other stories that corporate media isn't covering, but we do have to address the fact about what is happening here. So the reason, and again, just on a side note, the reason why there's so much violence right now is because we have a prison industrial complex, we have a ridiculous war on drugs, and we have a system that's basically designed to incarcerate more working class citizens. We need to rehabilitate and truly create a better system so that we don't have this continuation of violence. But sadly, Chicago is impacted by this, and it's a problem that's nationwide across the country. Chicago police begin beefing up staffing after a weekend of violence. Chicago police officials are canceling days off for officers later this week and to cover weekend shifts after a recent spurt of downtown violence, according to an internal CPD memo obtained by late Monday by the I-Team. Officers with 2 scheduled days off between Wednesday night and next Monday will be required to cancel one of them, the memo states. It was issued after the close of regular businesses on Monday and will be announced to upcoming roll calls. When large unruly crowds began flooding the loop last weekend, police were on regular schedules and no extra deployments were in place. This order is aimed at beefing up a number of patrol officers available for the upcoming weekend. As we all know, the holidays are coming, and there's been a lot of reports all across the country where there's been some random lootings happening, at least in some major metropolitan areas. Chicago police said they arrested 21 young people Saturday night when large crowds of teens filled the loop. 4 people, including 2 officers, were injured during a fight near Millennium Park. 1 officer was left with a broken arm. Crowds turned rowdy and spilled into other parts of the downtown area. More than 30 people were shot, 9 fatally in weekend shootings from Friday to Sunday, Chicago police has stated. I don't know if we can, but if there is a chance, to really point this out, this is a continuation of sadly failed policies. And Chicago has a long record of right now turning a blind eye to police corruption and police brutality. Now, there's a reason why these waves are happening right now. The reason why we're seeing such a increase in crime, especially with violence. It's because of the issue with COVID as well as the fact that there are lockdowns taking place, as well as the fact that millions of Americans are losing their jobs or having their wages cut. It's a system that's impacting millions of families, that's causing many people to be evicted from their homes. We're seeing an uptick in homelessness. We're seeing an uptick in opioid addiction, as well as a few other horrifying issues that this country has long neglected. And in Chicago, we have a lot of problems, especially with abandoned homes and apartments, because it's become downright unaffordable. And because of that, it's creating an environment of hopelessness. It's creating an environment to where we have politicians that have maybe an idea of what's wrong in the city, but are choosing not to do a damn thing about it. And this is going to have to be an important issue that's going to have to be covered and addressed during the 2023 municipal election cycle. The sad fact is, Chicago doesn't have a strong electoral presence. It doesn't have a strong political voice, especially in the city council, where they understand the issues at hand. We have a system where the rich get richer. We have a system of families that have been in power for many years, and corruption running amok, not only in politics, but all across all levels of Chicago and our infrastructure here. And the people who are left on the chopping block are working class citizens. And the issue is right now is, where's the opportunity for people to get themselves out of poverty and out of this desperation? So it's not going to get easier until we have leaders and actually have a strong political movement that actually wants to bring in change. Because if we continue on with the way things are, this desperation will continue to get worse, and we will see continuation of violence, because what's working right now doesn't work, especially with this prison industrial complex that we have. By the way, I want to give a shout out to TrueDemocracyNow.org. If we incarcerated citizens for drug crimes, it costs the city money. If they paid citations, the city would be making money. My opinion is this: we have to end the war on drugs. Similar to prohibition, it has failed. It's not working, and it's already been shown as a failure policy. You want to stop the bad guys, you want to stop the cartels. Similar to what was prohibition, you made alcohol legal, you put in regulations, you put in business licenses. Same thing with the war on drugs. And also get money out of politics, because let's face it, similar to big oil and the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex has the politicians, both Democrat and Republican, in their back pocket. We got to get money out of politics, and we have to reform this system. And the thing is, Chicago is just a small example of just what happens when you have corruption running amok, especially in politics. That's why definitely here for Chicago Corner, during the 2023 election cycle, our goal is to interview aldermanic candidates, mayoral candidates, and groups that are trying to bring in change. This 2023 election cycle will be very pivotal for the development of our city, because what we have cannot function anymore. And if there's truly going to be a city that's going to represent the people, we need to have the people step up so we can elect in individuals that will actually fight for the change that we so desperately need. Chicago's Not Broke. I definitely urge all of you to read that book, Chicago's Not Broke, written by Tom Treasure. It's a fantastic book, not even a long read, but I'll explain in detail why the city isn't broke, and the fact that we have heartless politicians that are choosing not to use the TIF funds to elevate the people out of poverty. So there we go. By the way, I want to give another shout out to TrueDemocracyNow.org. In order to end the war on drugs, we have to replace the politicians that keep it. Very true. Very true indeed. All right, we're going to move on now to our next story. Before we do, again, be sure to check out Chicago Corner. We're live every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are live all the time on those 2 days. And more importantly, if you want to have some awesome Chicago Corner merch, be sure to check out that link in the description box below. They're doing I want to give a shout out to our team that's done such fantastic work towards it, especially you, Pegleg, my arch nemesis, wherever you may be. So there we go. All right. With that being said,
somebody say merch. Flavor improving mugs. The mugs that improve flavor, now available in the merch store today and probably tomorrow.
There we go. So if you don't got it, get it. And if you don't get it, go figure it out. There you go. All right, we're going to move on now to another story. This story that's going to be a little bit, we're going to time travel back to the early days of the Trump presidency, and a story that happened here in Chicago many years ago. Well, not too many years ago, but it's still a shocker that it happened and how it all turned out. And look, it's gaining national headlines. I know that a lot of our fellow colleagues across independent media have talked about this story. It's a national story, and that's to deal with the aftermath of Jesse Smollett and what happened to him here in the city of Chicago. So apparently, Jesse Smollett testified he did drugs and self-pleasured with his attacker, alleged attacker. So here's what's going on. Jesse Smollett finally took the stand in his bizarre trial Monday and testified that he once masturbated with one of the men he's accused of hiring to attack him for attention. Smollett said it all went down during a visit to the bathhouse in Abinona, Osrandio. One of the two brothers Smollett is accused of paying to beat him up, yell racist slurs, and pour bleach on him on January of 2019. We went alone, got a private room, Smollett recalled in a courtroom Monday. According to Chicago Tribune reporter Jason Mezer, we made out a little bit, and this time we masturbated together. Again, don't do drugs, kids. Smollett also testified that after he met Osendio at the club, they made out, did drugs during a different bathhouse interaction in Boys Town, the Chicago Tribune reported. The ex-Empire star's testimony built on the defense line of questioning last week's when one attorney for Smollett dramatically asked Osendio, a major witness for the prosecution, when he started dating Smollett. Osendio said he never did. Smollett, who pleaded not guilty to 6 counts of disorderly conduct, is accused of orchestrating his own attack and roping in the brothers because he was upset at how the show handled a threatening letter he received to the studio. But Smollett has repeatedly maintained that the attacks was no hoax, including on the stand Monday, and his attorneys have sought to show jurors the brothers are untrustworthy and possibly homophobic. Okay, already we're seeing just how crazy this court case is getting. And this attack, alleged attack, got a lot of attention all across the media because, let's face it, Empire, very popular show, Jesse Smollett, an actor, with a large following on social media, getting attacked like that, or allegedly attacked, and then being a victim of, racial slurs and getting bleach poured on him. It wasn't... It was a crime that a lot of people in the city of Chicago, especially city officials, took very serious. And the fact that it turned out to be this one big hoax and this one big show that we're seeing right now, that in this article that we're sharing with all of you, it should tell all of you that at this point he needs help, a lot of it, mental health. And it's interesting how this lie all fell apart. So in an opening statements last week, Jesse Smollett's lawyers also alleged that the brothers beat him up because Osendio and his brother didn't like him, but not because they were paid to do it, according to the Associated Press. And the $3,500 check that the jury saw last week that prosecutor says was payment for the brothers' help in staging a hate crime was for physical training from Osendio ahead of a music video, defense lawyers said. Last week, the jury saw a text Smollett had sent to Osendio about talking on the low, which Osendio testified led to a meeting where Smollett asked him to stage the attack. Smollett, however, said, and repeatedly Monday, that the text was about an illegal steroid, the Associated Press reported. Still, prosecutors have pointed to a video that apparently shows Smollett driving around with the brothers a few days before the attack, which was allegedly the day Smollett brought up the idea of doing it, according to the New York Times. Smollett testified that the drive was just them smoking blunts, actually. Which way you want to place this? Again, city resources and a lot of city officials here in Chicago, spent a lot of time investigating into this story. And this was a very serious story that was, for a while when it was believable, it was made very clear that, a lot of people took this serious. And the sad fact is, it was a lie. And it was there to get attention. So we're still just scratching the surface of this entire trial. And there's probably going to be a lot more revelations about what Jesse Smollett was trying to do. So Smollett faces the possibility of up to 3 years in prison. Already an actor on a very popular show, 3 years in prison because of a lie. Was it worth it? Probably not. Though some experts said that it's unlikely he will spend any time behind bars for his alleged offenses, still, the evidence against him doesn't look good. Last week, Smollett's lawyers even requested a mistrial over allegations that the judge presiding over the case lunged and snarled at one of the attorneys. The judge swiftly denied the allegations as well as a request for a mistrial. How to unpack this article and this story? Is this an individual that's trying to get attention? Is this somebody that's mentally ill and is incapable of understanding the severity of the crime that was committed? There's a lot to take away from this. Did he do this willingly? And I want to quote Miguel H. here. Thank you for joining us in the live stream chat. Did he do all this for attention? That's up for everyone to really, that's really up for Justice Smollett to really say at this point. But if you're going to be doing this kind of heinous action and it's all one big lie just to gain attention, or you're upset at how the studio reacted to any kind of threatening letters or any of that matter, you need to seek some help, mental health, immediately. You just don't do this kind of stuff. And the thing is, there were a lot of people that believed him. There's probably a lot of people that went to bat for him over this lie. Because let's face it, there are many stories that go unnoticed by corporate media of hate crimes, of abuse, of real attacks that are happening. And Jesse Smollett, being an actor that he is on the very popular show Empire, it got a lot of attention. And it shined the light on the fact that, yes, there are still hate crimes like this happening all across this country. There's a lot of examples of people being attacked like this. But this was a lie. This was a setup. And it hurt a lot of people. So it is sad to see this happen. And I do hope that he's able to get some kind of help, and maybe we can get to the bottom of what he was trying to do here. And while many people might find this story like a downright a joke, I don't take it as a joke. I take this as somebody that needed help, and the people around him failed him. And sadly, a lot of people believe this lie. They themselves got hurt by this lie. That being said, we're going to move on to our next story. Before we do, again, be sure to subscribe to Chicago Corner. We're live every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be hosting Chicago Corner. In the meantime, Jerry Vassilatos, he'll be recovering. But do me a favor in the live stream chat, give a thumbs up to Jerry. He's been doing such a fantastic job hosting this show, and more importantly, leading Chicago Corner. As we go into 2023, that election cycle is going to be very important. I'll be more than happy to help out Jerry, especially interviewing aldermanic candidates and mayoral candidates for the 2023 municipal election cycle. And if you know anyone that lives in the city of Chicago and supports progressive independent media, tell them to subscribe to Chicago Corner. So there we go. We got all these wonderful people. Let's give a thumbs up to Jerry. He's been doing a great job. I gotta be the host. So there we go. All right. Now we're going to move on to our next story. Apparently, this is another article from the Chicago Block Club. They do fantastic work. So if you live in the city of Chicago, be sure to check out their content. Alderman Jim Gardiner's challenger would be booted from the 45th Ward in City Council's proposed remap. So just a short little update about Chicago politics. In case you don't know, we've perfected gerrymandering in this city. Our districts look like a crazy person's jigsaw puzzle. So do yourself a favor after the show. I know we got a lot of people here in the audience, but after the show, just Google the image of Chicago districts, and you'll be impressed at just how crazy it is. If anyone ever decided to make a puzzle map of the Chicago districts, good luck in trying to build that piece up, because you'll never be able to complete it in time. It will be a nightmare, a true nightmare. So continuing on. In Old Irving Park, the proposed ward map unveiled last week by City Council Committee would draw out the only declared challenger to embattled Alderman Jim Gardiner of the 45th District. The map included by the council's...
Cabello, I'm sorry to interrupt. Are we talking about Aldermort today?
You're talking about Alderman Jim Gardiner.
Yes,
and
that's what I said, Aldermort.
Well, apparently, apparently what's going to happen is, with this proposed remap, the 45th Ward alderman, the challenger, is going to basically be kicked out.
Yes, they like to mess around with the borders on those wards. I know I tried to weasel myself into this whole mess when I tried to get a chocolate milk majority ward but everybody kept kicking me out. They said, "Get out of here, you crazy ghost."
Well, the thing is, man, what we have to remember is it's a crazy jigsaw puzzle. Can you imagine how would you draw out a chocolate milk ward exactly?
Well, my thinking was, since we were going to open up that chocolate milk amusement park where the old stockyards used to be, that
Mhm.
we just pretty much just fit it in over there. And I didn't think too many aldermen would have had a problem with that, but apparently they don't take me seriously for some reason.
Well, hey, you know what? Just tell them you're the guy who set Chicago on fire. They might take you serious then.
Oh, no, no, love Tagore. It's not majority board, it's a majority ward. WARD. That's how they divide the city up into wards.
Yeah, and I want to give a quote out to Miguel H. too. He says, "That's a good idea. A puzzle of all the Chicago districts, LOL." Well, Miguel H., if you have the resources and time to do that, make that map and show me how you built it, because I would go crazy trying to carve up all the districts. I think it would be a very difficult task to do.
Oh, wait, we got somebody in the chat here who seems familiar.
Oh, by the way, Night Star Productions. I think Jerry Vassilatos is part of Night Star Productions. He goes on to say, how the F did he think that the revelation was going to help his case? No one knows at this point, Jerry, but it's good to have you here in the chat. Keep on doing the good work, and please keep on recovering well, my friend. All right, so continuing on. So you might want to listen to this one, Peg Leg. The map introduced by the Council Rules Committee would extend the 38th Ward, represented by Alderman Nick Sapasso, deep into the Six Corners Shopping District, and it would cut out parts of Old Irving Park and Independent Park areas from the 45th Ward. It also would stretch Gardiner's ward north into parts of Edgebrook and into relatively conservative Willwood area. That would kick out Megan Massis, who lives in Old Irving Park, and announced her bid to run against Gardiner earlier this year out of the freshman alderman's political boundary. So Massis' home instead would be drawn into the 30th Ward, represented by Alderman Ariel Ribarias. So, okay, under state law, aldermanic candidates are allowed to run for city council seat even if their homes are drawn out of that ward. In Massis' case, though, if she's drawn out of the 45th Ward, she could still run up against Gardiner, but if she were elected and the proposed map is approved, she'd have to move to the new 45th Ward before running for re-election in the 2026 Chicago municipal election cycle.
Oh,
See
so
what I mean?
you could win if you were drawn out of your ward, but then you'd have to move back into it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I lived in the ward all my life, but now I have to move back into it.
Yeah, I can see how that might be difficult for me if I had a chocolate milk majority ward that was over by the stockyards. Then I'd have to like build a shack over there or something.
Well, you know what you could do, that I would recommend? Maybe build like a big oversized bridge, and no matter where they moved, how they redistrict your ward, you could kind of like, you know, maybe hover your house or shack over the new ward. I don't know. You can figure something out.
Yes, I hear the drone technology is very good these days, and if we hooked up some solar panels or something, maybe we could float and just live in the ward like a few feet above ground.
There you go. That's a plan right there.
Oh, we have breaking news from Night Star Productions.
I have the hiccups that will not stop. I feel like someone shot me in the arm. But aside from that, everything's coming up roses. Very good, Jerry. Keep on getting better. I'll be trying to captain the ship as best I can with my good second in command, Pegleg, along the sides. There we go. See, Pegleg, I think we could get along. Massa said that the move, which could protect Gardiner, isn't surprising, but it's disheartening to see. She has said that she is confident the proposed map is not final. I'm still running, and I don't feel discouraged. But it's disheartening to see political power at play. Voters suffer when this happens. And the thing is, what I want to add on to this is, when we go into the next election cycle, the more times these districts are redrawn, a lot of voters are confused of who represents them then, where they stand. Who's going to fight for them on current issues. Because if the ward is redrawn, they might have a brand new alderman. And that might be somebody that they don't like. They have policies that they don't respect or like. And it just causes more confusion. And you know what else it causes? Voter fatigue, where people just don't turn out to vote. And the one impact in 2019 was that there was low voter turnout And there's a lot of Chicagoans that don't understand really just how the system's working. And when they want to go out to vote, there's a whole bunch of misinformation there, and they don't understand. A lot of people just get confused and overwhelmed with the amount of bureaucracy that prevents them from participating in electoral politics. We tried covering this when we were on the radio and television way back in early days of Hard Lens Media, and I think sadly we're going to be talking about it for 2023 on Chicago Corner. Nothing has fundamentally changed, and I'm quoting Joe Biden here.
Yes,
So
I know it's really difficult with these elections around here in Chicago and Illinois in general, because a lot of times they like to change the dates of when the primaries are going to be, and then sometimes they don't tell everybody, so because they don't want you to know,
mhm.
and other times it's just insanity with the clown car.
Yeah, the mayoral clown car. In fact, let's highlight Jerry's quote right there, because that's something I'm concerned about when we walk into the next election cycle. Will there be another clown car? Will there be 20? Because we had, at one point, 20 mayoral candidates running in 2019. And we did have a primary. It got down to Lori Lightfoot and Tony Propwinkle. But with all these candidates, people just didn't really know who was going to work best for them. And sadly, we're stuck with nothing again, and I dread to see how 2023 will play out. I really am concerned of the voter turnout, as well as who's going to be running for mayor, because if it's going to be another clown car, good luck with keeping voter attention. So that's why Chicago Corner is here, to speak truth to power and cover the stories that you don't see covered by corporate media. So Gardiner's office did not reply to requests for comment about the map proposal or about Masters' address being carved out of the ward. It's it's almost a coincidence that somehow her house is being carved out of the ward. I wonder who was behind that. But Gardiner told the newspapers, no matter how the map ends up, I'm honored to serve. So there we go. So that's it.
It would be really weird if we zoomed in on that map and found that they really just literally traced around her house and yard just to notch her out of her ward.
I wonder. I wonder indeed. The version of the map is hardly the final word on how the city's political boundaries will be shaped for the next 10 years. Good luck. They're not going to be consistent about it for 10 years. The Rules Committee map was introduced last week with heavy influence from the Black Caucus, but it was not voted on by a critical deadline, which opened up the possibility of a competing map being submitted to go to referendum next summer. The next day, continuing a political battle that has engulfed the map redrawing, the Latino Caucus filed its own version saying it's time for voters to decide. Rules Committee Chair Alderman Mitchell Harris of the 8th Ward said last week that the plan is a starting point in negotiations and told her colleagues to go back to the drawing board. I don't know. Let's make simple squares instead of this maddening jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, I was just about to suggest a brilliant idea I came up with. Why don't we just cut the wards up like we do tavern-style Chicago thin crust pizza?
That would make sense, but see, the thing is, you have hope for Chicago politics. Oh my goodness, Pegleg, what's wrong?
Well, I didn't say I had hope. I just had an idea.
Well, you had an idea, but good luck getting it implemented in Chicago politics. They're never going to do that.
Well, they all like to design their word maps like stuffed pizza. They just cram everything in there and jumble it around and cover it with the top crust and some red sauce, and they think nobody's going to notice.
Agreed. Miguel H. Yeah, homework assignment. Make a jigsaw puzzle of the Chicago districts. If you can pull that off, you're a hero. There you go. Massa said that she has been door knocking since June and received broad support for her candidacy, and her campaign has raised more than $50,000. One thing I would suggest is double check and triple check that all the people who signed for supporting you are all good, and because that's how people get kicked off the ballot. Because Chicago politics, the progressives always, or the challengers against the incumbents, are always somehow conveniently removed. It always happens in Chicago politics. Hopefully, there's a resolution, and the council members can work together in creating a new ward map. She said, the Rules Committee proposal also moves the home of former Alderman John Arena, who Gardiner unseated in 2019, into Zapato's 38th ward. I am not surprised that he's afraid, Arena told the Daily Line last week. He thinks that by breaking up communities and neighborhoods, that he can avoid being held responsible for his incompetence and thuggery. Gardiner has battled controversy for months. He's faced scrutiny over his derogatory language about constituents and fellow council members, and for blocking residents from public meetings. If you're an elected official, you have to do public meetings. You have to talk to your voters and your constituents. It's politics 101. Even Pegleg knows that.
Yes, I didn't really consider constituents to be a really important part of the equation there, Cabello. I'm kidding, of course.
There are multiple probes into his conduct in office, and a lawsuit alleges he used his position to retaliate against critics. Well, when you enter politics, you're going to be criticized. That's just how things work. It's a classic move of somebody who can't run on a record, so he wants to pick his voters. A referendum, which would be Chicago's first in 30 years, according to the Sun-Times, is still a long way off. All the people have until 40 days before next summer's election to garner 41 votes for a map, but they can only support one proposal. So there we go.
Thank you very much to Block Club Chicago for that article.
Yeah, they do fantastic work. So there we go. So I think we're going to be, before we do wrap things up, I think Pegleg, I think we do deserve another commercial break before we end our series, our show, on a wonderful high note.
Oh, a commercial break.
Short
we could
commercial.
do one of those. This commercial is brought to you by another commercial for flavor-improving mugs. The mugs that improve flavor, now available in the merch store. And if you use code FINISHLINE, today is the last day you can use that code. You can save 25% on everything in the merch store, including flavor-improving mugs. The mugs that improve flavor.
Well said indeed. So there we go. Chicago mugs. Go get the Chicago Corner mugs now. If you don't got it, get it. If you don't get it, go figure it out. So there we go. We're going to move on now to a very holiday-flavored, holiday fun story. So it turns out now, the best Christmas yard displays sought for 2021, Turo lights. So what's going on here? So, Pegleg, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you, my friend.
Happy Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa, Mardi Gras to you, Kit Cabello.
If you spent days or weeks painstakingly hanging strands of lights on your house, trees, and shrubs, or hauling multiple figurines out on your lawn, Patch wants to hear from you. So, by the way, whatever you do not take any kind of notes from National Lampoon's Christmas.
Ooh, that's a fantastic picture.
It is, but just remember, double check your Christmas tree so a squirrel doesn't come out attacking you. We'll be compiling our annual holiday tour lights where readers can tour the best holiday light displays in the Chicago area. We're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. Oh, boo, Amazon. But okay. A $100 Amazon gift card to the best twinkling light display chosen by our patch editors. To be considered, send us pictures and description of your holiday winter wonderland by December 10th. You know what? If anyone actually decides to decorate their house with Halloween themes, I would be proud of you, because even in October you see Christmas displays and Christmas decorations. What's up with that? It drives me nuts. The old man Santa gets December, but yet still we see him in October and November. Enough is enough. Enough is enough with the madness. We'll keep updating the list every Friday through December 24th. Due to the popularity of our Halloween and Christmas light tours, we're going to separate submissions by county so we don't overload our content management system. Remember, there's still a pandemic out there, so if you're going to get out of your car and walk around, please wear a mask, practice social distancing, and bring hand sanitizer. Please, everyone, be safe out there if you're going to be doing that. It is starting to get a little dangerous, and we have to make sure people are taken care of. So send your photos and or links to the videos to your Christmas light display. Of course, it sends to this colleague right here. This is in the website, their web address. We prefer that the homeowner submit his or her own yard or an immediate neighbor or close relative. A good time to photograph your display is at dusk. Please include the following information. The exact address, all the other good stuff, all your lights, important stuff. Only submit photos you have taken yourself. So, don't try and steal someone else's picture or Christmas displays. I better not see you, Pegleg, stealing Christmas lights and saying, "Oh, look what I did," or either that, stand in front of someone else's house and say, "Yeah, this is my Christmas display." You've been trying to do that a little bit too
I
much,
don't
buddy.
steal things, Mr. Cabello. That is slander.
Well, gee, Pegleg, will you be doing any kind of Christmas decorations, and what will be your theme?
Well, the theme we usually do around the ghost farmhouse is we do chocolate milk bottles like the old school glass ones because those are really cool, and we put lights in those. And we hang them around the barn, but we got to hang them kind of high because Bessie bumps into them otherwise, and then we have a mess. We don't like we try to keep her from being able to knock things over, if you know what I mean.
Well, gee, I don't want to see history repeat itself where there's another big light display in the city of Chicago, but it'll be too hot to handle.
Love to gory. I don't know what you're insinuating there.
Well, still, nonetheless, I am hoping I am excited to see just how some of these lights displays do turn out. I mean, in my neighborhood, I already saw a lot of people hanging out their Christmas displays, and it's good to see that. I know things have been a little bit crazy this year of 2021 as well as the previous year of 2020, but as we celebrate the new year of 2022 coming around, here's hoping that it'll be far more joyous, far more peaceful, and maybe things will turn around and all this misfortune that has been impacting a lot of us will finally turn around. It is the holidays, and we here at Chicago Corner want to wish all of you a happy holidays, and please be safe out there with your friends and family, your loved ones, because it's a little tough for a lot of people out there. And so if you see anyone in pain or in need of help, a friendly conversation, a shoulder to talk to, a shoulder to lean on, that kind of thing, would really help out somebody because we're all in this together. And yeah, Peg Leg, we might have our disagreements and our rivalry going on, but I still wish you a very happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa Grass. So there we go.
I wish you all the best in the coming year, Mr. Cabello, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your December and holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very likely I will see you on Friday when we probably will have some very special stories to share with all of you.
Of course, covering Chicago politics, Chicago stories, local issues here that are impacting the working class citizens of Chicago. Now more than ever, we need an independent voice here in Chicago, and Chicago Corner, working in collaboration with Hard Lens Media. We are going to be covering the 2023 election cycle as we are building up to it. As we've covered in the last story before we covered the Christmas lights ones, look, the city redistricting a lot of these wards, it's going to be important. And the sad fact is, a lot of Chicagoans might not know this is happening to them. And again, it causes a lot of confusion about who they can vote for, where they're supposed to vote. And that's why we created Chicago Corner, because we need an independent media network that's going to cover Chicago politics so that the voters are informed about what's happening in their city, who's representing them, where they can go to vote, and how we can actually fight for that better future here in Chicago. There are good people here in Chicago. All what we need now is a strong independent media network, and Chicago Corner is going to be leading the way.
And we do have one more theme.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
We are helping Jerry with this community fundraiser that he has started for us, which is really great. Where we have links up on the website for Chicago Corner at 99perspectives.tv/Chicago-Corner.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry is doing a special thing where you can either donate directly to the Night Ministry or Toys for Tots or a Chicago food bank or a food bank near you. You can find mutual aid and help people or be helped if you need some. But he is donating proceeds from donations for his movie that he did called Solstice. And what happens is you make a donation to purchase one of these DVDs, and all the money, I believe, goes directly to the night ministry. So
Very good.
I think you might pay shipping and handling, but other than that, it's a pretty good deal. So you get that wonderful Blu-ray that Jerry has with the new music that he had made, and the wonderful high definition remaster he just had done,
There you go.
and it's a wonderful Christmas movie. I believe it was Lifetime. Remember Lifetime TV? I think they still exist.
Yeah, it still does.
This movie was the first one ever featured as a holiday original movie for Lifetime.
Well, then, you know what? That's more reason for everyone to check it out and check out Nightstar Productions and all the work our good colleague Jerry Vasconcelos is doing. Jerry, listen, you're missed already. I remember when we handed you over Chicago Corner, I was like, you've got this. And now here I am sitting in the captain's seat, and might be a little bit too much. So, Jerry, get well soon, because right now I'm trying to captain Chicago Corner. I hope I'm doing a good job for all the viewers and subscribers here who support Chicago Corner and support Chicago independent media. We're glad to have all of you here. Jerry, get better, and we're glad that you are recovering. Just recover a little faster, my friend.
Well, this ghost thinks you're doing a wonderful job, Mr. Cabello, and we hope that Jerry returns soon to the captain's chair, so that he can be extra nice to the people in the chat like Love Tagore.
Yeah, there we go. Now, shout out to the whole audience. And yes, Miguel H., to all our viewing audience, you can check this out. To go to the 99 Perspectives website and be able to find the link to it. So be sure to check it out and check out the work that Jerry Vasconcelos has done for his film, Solstice. It's fantastic. Make it happen live and direct here in the city of Chicago. We're going to be wrapping up the show. And with that being said, I want to thank all of you so much for joining us. Chicago Corner is live every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Support Chicago independent media, and now more than ever, let us all do what we can to build a better future. Peace and take care.